Boom, what's up guys? Today I want to show you guys another build for Oberon today. Oberon's one of my favorite frames. He does tanking really well. I'm a fan of health tanks, and I think he does it in a simple way, yet somewhat interesting, I believe. So let's get into the build and see what's going on. Alright, so just to explain how the tank works, you have a healing ability that also gives you armor. So if you cast your 2 and then your 3, or your 3 then your 2, you get an armor buff and you get a heal per second. So basically with the heal per second, as when you take damage, you heal it back up. Makes sense. In the build, we have Hunter's Adrenaline. When you take damage to health, you'll gain energy, and since you're healing it back up, you'll stay alive longer. And then Quick Thinking is also there. You take damage to your health. Once your health were to go to 0 and die, instead, your energy becomes your health bar. And because you're still healing, Hunter's Adrenaline is still working, giving you more energy, essentially giving you double health bar, essentially. I'm not quite sure on the math, but you have a bigger health bar because of Quick Thinking, Hunter's Adrenaline, and the heal. And then Adaptation gives you 90% DR. Continuity is there just for duration. Sure-footed is just for quality of life. Your aura mod can be whatever you want. Mess around with them. You can put Rifle Amp, Steel Charge, Stand United. And Growing Power is probably the best one I've seen or I've messed with. Check those out. And then these top row of mods are the important ones. Even these are set in stone, but these are important and also interchangeable. There's a couple of variations to the build. I'll make sure to remember and tell you guys about them. Also with the Arcanes, these are mandatory and do not change. So with Prime Flow, Arcane Battery, we're looking at about 1400 energy. That is a lot of energy. So I would say if you don't want to use both, use one. It just seems comfortable to use both. If you want to keep Prime Flow, put Arcane Blessing over here. If you want to keep Battery, put like Vitality over there. But we'll go into the variations in a bit, right? So we have Equilibrium and Health Conversion, right? So these rely on health orbs. How are we getting the health orbs? On our companion, we have a mod called Synth Deconstruct. If my companion injures an enemy, it has a 25% chance to drop health orbs when they die. I have Duplex Bond, and with the companion changes on my claws, I'm running Frenzied Posture, so it runs around and tries to tag as many enemies as possible. And with Electric has an AoE where like links up to enemies. It pretty much almost always drops health orbs, or super fast. As long as you're killing stuff, you're dropping health orbs. So how are we benefiting from health orbs? With Health Conversion, those health orbs are becoming stacks. It caps at 3 stacks. Each stack giving you 450 armor, and Equilibrium is my latest addition to the build. I'm not sure if I'll keep it, but Equilibrium basically means whenever I pick up a health orb, I'll get some energy. As we mentioned earlier, energy is also your health, so we're getting like double the healing essentially. Not really, but I had Streamline in this slot before. If you guys want to run Streamline here, that works too because of the Blind Rage. This drain from Renewal drains per target. So there's a drain for yourself, which is at 2 seconds, and 3 per target. So your companion is 3 drain. Your teammates and their companions are also a 3 drain. So you're looking at 7 targets at 3 energy per second, plus you at 2 energy per second. That is a lot of energy drained per second at a full team, which you might want to invest in some efficiency because we're at negative. But if you think it's not that big of a deal because you're getting a lot of energy or you're playing solo, don't worry about it. Equilibrium should counteract that negative efficiency pretty well. And yeah, Blind Rage gets us to 190% strength, but we're running an Archon Shard to get it to 200 just because we want to hit 100% armor reduction on the Reckoning. Now, pretty much that should be self-explanatory how the build works. You take damage to your health, you gain energy, you're healing the health back, you're not dying. If your health will happen to drop, your energy will start taking that damage, but you'll start regaining energy, so you're losing a little bit less, and you're also healing at the same time, and hopefully you manage to avoid the damage that's killing you to heal back up and gain that energy back and stay alive, right? So that's version 1. In version 1, I need to mention the Archon Shards. Our Archon Shards are 2 armor, 2 health, and 1 strength. The 1 strength to hit 200%. The health is just to be more than 600 because 600 is super low. And the 2 armors are necessary to hit 90% DR from the armor. So these 3 are pretty much mandatory. If you don't want to run these 2, for example, you take out Prime Flow, you can put a cast speed because again, to do the armor strip, you got to cast 2 abilities. It's a long animation, so I recommend 1 cast speed and maybe 1 health, assuming you put in like Vitality over here. If you don't want to run Vitality, you can run Arcane Blessing. Both are interchangeable because again, you're dropping a lot of health orbs. And this is build 1. Oh, and Helminth. In the Helminth, we're running Nourish. Nourish is not much. We're not using it really for the viral. We're using it mostly for the energy multiplier. So because we're taking damage to our health, getting energy with Hunter's Adrenaline, Nourish is multiplying that by 2.2 times, gaining us even more energy per hit, making quick thinking tanking even better. And yeah, that's version 1. So I'm not going to change the build to explain version 2, but in version 2, it's completely up to you. You can run triple Umbral mods. The reason I'm not running triple Umbral is because it messes up my other builds and I don't want to have 2 Oberons going on. So you can run Umbral Intensify, Umbral Fiber, and Umbral Vitality. You will be missing a little bit of armor, losing health conversion. You could remove Equilibrium and keep health conversion because you're not going to be in negative efficiency, so you don't really need to get more energy. So you can keep health conversion, lose Equilibrium, lose Flow, lose Blind Rage, keep the Arcane Battery, keep Arcane Guardian, right? If you're keeping Flow instead, then change Blessing, but you want to keep the Umbral mods together to get the most out of them. The third build is pretty much the same as this. Remove Prime Flow for Vitality and then balance it out with more armor Archon shards. So you saw I had 2 health Archon shards. Remove 1 or 2 of them for more armor. And if you are running the opposite, you want to run Steel Fiber, put more health, remove some armor, and so on, just to counteract it. Again, Equilibrium is just, you could also change this out to whatever you want. This just makes sense to have because we're doing a lot of health orbs. Health conversion gives us way too much armor, but I understand to keep this going, you got to kill non-stop. So you can't maintain the kills to keep this going. Remove this again for the triple Umbral setup, Umbral Fiber, Umbral Intensify, and Vitality. Or in this slot itself, put you could go Steel Fiber, go triple Archon Health Shards, or put Vitality in this slot and go triple Archon Armor Shards. Or go double this, Steel Fiber and Vitality here, and balance it out, 2 shards in your Archon Shards. Complete up to you, or don't go Vitality and go Blessing. Also works. So you can mess around with the build, but at the end of the day, it gets you the same thing, but you want health conversion because you're getting a lot. Like you're getting 1350 armor from health conversion. 1,350 armor, which is a lot. It's a lot of armor, even though you're getting armor from renewal. So if you count renewal armor, health conversion, your Archon shards, Arcane Guardian, you're hitting 9% DR. Adaptation is another layer of 9% DR. Nourish, make sure you have your energy because sometimes you might get hit with a big chunk of damage and lose a lot of your energy because it's also your health bar. Nourish helps you maintain that a bit. So yeah, that is pretty much the main build. Hopefully I didn't like overload you guys. Let's talk about alternate helmets. So if you want to keep Nourish, you're good. If not, what other options you got? You can use helmet that gives you DR, like Eclipse or Nullstar. You can run Elemental Ward to go get extra health or extra armor, though that might change how the rest of the build looks because you have an ability giving you health or armor. So you can probably, if you go health with Elemental Ward, you can go more armor in the build. And if you have armor, you can like sacrifice some armor and go more health. Up to you. That's pretty much it. If you don't want, again, if you want to run a helmet, it has to be on your first, not the other 3. If you want to keep your one, Oberon has the augment called Smite Infusion, which turns him into a decent weapons platform. So you throw on the augment, I guess, over Equilibrium because everything else is pretty much mandatory. Overflow, up to you which one you want to keep. It will give you 100% damage to your weapons as radiation. So in this build I have 200%, so I get 200% radiation damage onto my weapons. And because I'm already tanky, it's pretty nice extra. It's just free extra damage. In that case, you'll have a free helmet, but you can't take out your 1. You can't take out your 2 and 3 because those are your damage. Those are your tankiness. So you're left with your 4. So in the 4 slot, if you choose the helmet that off instead, I recommend going armor strip. So you can go any armor strip you enjoy because Oberon's base armor strip requires a lot of work. It's a double ability cast, so not the best. But yeah, if you want to do helmet off the 1 to get more tankiness, or keep the 1 to get a weapon damage buff, and either keep the kit base or helmet off the 4 to get an alternate armor strip. On the companion, because the companion doesn't matter, you could run any companion you want as long as you have Synth Deconstruct. This is all you need. As long as your companion is attacking stuff, this will proc dropping health orbs when you kill an enemy. Any weapon you want to use works with the build. Doesn't matter at all. Now let's talk about alternate build for new players. So moving on to a build for new players, it should sort of look something like this. This isn't as good as the other one. Keep in mind these stats are a little bit off because I still have the Archon shards on, but you want to run Vitality Steel Fiber to get as much health and armor as you possibly can. Streamline just because you want the drain. Flow is just for more energy. Hunters to get energy while you get hit. You can use Rage here if you have Rage If you don't, I wouldn't worry about it. Continuity is to get more duration on your abilities. But the main thing that's mainly different about this build is your Phoenix Renewal. So Phoenix Renewal is similar to Quick Thinking. So if you would happen to die while your renewal is active, instead you would get instantly healed back to 50% and affectable by strength. So we have only 30% with Intensify. We have an Archon chart. You wouldn't have this if you're a new player, but I'll heal about 70%. If you manage to have Blind Rage would get you to full, and you should probably try to get Blind Rage. Honestly, it's not super hard, but I recommend getting it. So it would heal you back to full instantly. You don't go down nothing. If you were to die, you'd get healed back up, no strings attached, except it's on a 90-second cooldown. The good thing about this augment though is that as long as somebody on your team is affected by it, they also get the same protection. So if your teammate is getting healed by your renewal, if they were to die, boom, instantly healed, no problem, nothing else to happen, right? Your companion dies, same thing, but they're also on a 90-second cooldown. I wish this was shorter, but it's not 90 seconds. It's a lot, a minute and a half, especially for a new player who might die a lot. But this is really the cheapest possible you can go with this build. Again, once you get more gear, you'll get like your arcane slots. Guardian would do probably the best. So Guardian will probably give you the best like, extra buff in this build. And then maybe you want to get adaptation, throw it on in one of these mod slots. Maybe take streamline out, put adaptation once you unlock arbitrations. But essentially you want it to get to look like this. I'll show you guys a quick video of the build. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know which variation you guys chose to go with. I'll be looking forward to see what you guys say in the comments. Hopefully you enjoyed. Take care and see you guys on the next one. All right.